Hello and welcome to Pock and Rob. Today's video continues the series that my son Joel, also known as FoxEatingNuggets, has been doing of our top 100 songs, and this is the 30s, it's like 40 to 31. As we always say on these videos, we're not going into the level of this song is ever so slightly better than the other. We do them in batches of 10 that we think are roughly of a muchness in terms of how much we like them. Before we dive in, and it's my turn to start this time, I'll just remind you to hit the thumbs up to like the video. That really helps on Google searches, on the algorithms. Hit the subscribe button. We are at 49 subscribers. And lastly, ring the bell to receive notifications of future content. So my first one in this batch of 10 is a song that came up in a previous video on your list. It is the Pet Shop Boys' Being Boring. This is from my favourite Pet Shop Boys album, Behaviour. It is my favourite Pet Shop Boys song. I'm not alone in that. A lot of people, despite the fact that it's only made number 20 in the charts when they were basically smashing into the top 10 with virtually every single, it's often voted as being many Pet Shop Boys fans' best Pet Shop Boys song. It was your best as well, wasn't it?
No.
Oh. I thought it was.
This is my best, because I also have a Pet Shop Boys song at number 40.
Okay.
Can You Forgive Her?
From the very album. Great song, actually, Can You Forgive Her? I do agree. Good song. That's as up a song as Being Boring is a bit of a down song. My next pick is returning to my favourite band. It's the acoustic perfection from the White Album that is Blackbird. And I know this is your favourite Beatles song because you've said on previous videos that it is. Blackbird, absolutely fantastic. I love playing this on guitar. It's hard to work out to begin with, but once it becomes muscle memory, it's a lot easier. And
since you said that, because I've already had Day Tripper on the list, they know that Blackbird's coming up.
Yeah, that's true.
Not in this time, though.
Okay.
My next song is very recent. It's from film. And it was all over Spotify a few months ago.
Right.
And it is We Don't Talk About Bruno from...
Really?
Yeah. From...
That's in your top 40 songs of all time?
Yeah. There's another one coming up.
Actually, yeah. After what you said about... you've told me what your favourite song is from Encanto, so 2 songs from Encanto. I have to admit, when I watched Encanto on Christmas Day, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed by the music. I wasn't impressed by the film. He was off sick one day, and I wasn't feeling particularly great, so I think I was off sick on the same day. You put Encanto on. I ended up watching it a second time and thinking, my word, this is brilliant. It was so much better on repeated
Maybe you should do the same with Hamilton.
That's not going to happen. My next pick is by a Beatle, but it's not Paul McCartney. This is George Harrison, and it is the track What Is Life. Opens up side 2 of the triple disc album All Things Must Pass that he released after the Beatles broke up. I think this is a phenomenal song. Absolutely brilliant, and such a great showcase for what a songwriter George Harrison had become towards the end of the time of the Beatles. Whether or not this was ever trialled with the other members of the Beatles, I don't know, because surely they'd have seen what a good song it was. What Is Life?
My next song is Alan Walker.
Back. I won't remember it. I've heard it, I won't remember it. Go on.
On My Way. This was not on the Different World album.
In that case, maybe I haven't heard it.
This is on World of Walker. I think you possibly have.
In that case, yes, I definitely have, because last year when I was listening to stuff from 2021, I did listen to World of Walker.
So, and it's the Tweakaz remix.
Tweakaz? Okay.
Because there's a section in the original that I don't particularly like, and this version removes that. So, yeah.
My next pick is from an album that came out in 2018 by George Ezra. No, it's not Shotgun. You had that, didn't you?
I believe so.
It's the opening track of the album, which I think is far superior, and I have gigged because there's a theme in these songs. It's Pretty Shining People. My favourite track by George Ezra, my favourite track from Staying at Tomorrow's, which was my joint favourite album from the 2010s when I did my video on that. Go back and watch that if you want to see the other things I picked from that decade.
So, my next song is by Taylor Swift, again. And it is 22. Yeah.
Which version?
Taylor's version.
Oh, you prefer Taylor's version to the original?
They're almost exactly
They
the same.
are almost exactly the same, to be fair. Her voice has matured by a decade. I've got read Taylor's version.
I've got read the original.
Quadruple vinyl that's played at 45 RPM. Should only really be a triple vinyl done at 33 RPM, but hey. That's a video for another day about things that vinyl makers really should consider stopping doing. Especially given that vinyl is a petroleum product and we've got an oil crisis. To my next pick, which is back with the Beatles, from Revolver, For No One. An amazingly brilliant McCartney written ballad. I have busked this in our town centre well over 25 years ago, and it's just a really great song. For No One, it's lovely.
But my next song Dad likes, definitely, because he introduced me to it, and it is She's a Rebel by Green Day.
Yeah, not my favourite Green Day song, but it's got a great attitude, particularly as it comes straight after Novocaine, and it's in the same tempo, because I've run to both Novocaine and then She's a Rebel. It's from American Idiot, which is a phenomenal album. My next pick is from an artist who died this year. I did a video the week he died. It's Meatloaf. That video was about my top 15 Meatloaf performances. This song was not my favourite Meatloaf performance, but it is my favourite Jim Steinman song and my favourite Meatloaf song as a whole. It's a duet between him and Ellen Foley. It is Paradise by the Dashboard Light. The song suite that just... It's an incredible piece of songwriting and performing in 4 parts. That's just... It's brilliant. Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Ironically, my next track is another Green Day song. And it just so happens to be Novocaine.
Yeah.
I don't know how they ended up right next to each other, but they did.
Because you end up listening to them right next to each other.
That's true. Because when I listen on Spotify...
In which case, given that we are not doing these top 10s as like this song is slightly better than the other, why don't you just do Novocaine and then She's a Rebel?
Because I'm just reading up on my list. And this
Well,
time the Rebel comes before the Novocaine.
Well, we've already talked about Novocaine, haven't we?
Yeah.
My next song I know is in contention for yours, but didn't get in. It's your favourite one from this artist, and indeed mine. It was my introduction to this artist. It's Fergus Sings the Blues by Deacon Blue from the album When the World Knows Your Name. What a happy, joyful song. There are times when you get asked a question in training events, what's the song that you most like to jump up and dance around to, or wakes you up, or makes you feel joyful? And the one that immediately comes to mind is Fergus Sings the Blues for me.
So my next song is by Imagine Dragons, Don't Say It.
It's got to be Radioactive.
And it's Believer.
You mean one of Imagine Dragons' many rewrites of the brilliant Radioactive?
They're not
Their songs
rewrites.
sound the same. And you know what? I'm not the only person who said that about Imagine Dragons. I was watching something else where somebody said Imagine Dragons seem to be rewriting the same song over and over.
No. Believer is much closer to Thunder than it is to Radioactive. With the pauses between
Radioactive,
musical breaks.
Thunder, Believer. I mean, there's a progression of the same song.
Then I 100% disagree.
My next track is by Queen. And in the version of this that I did probably 10 years ago, I actually picked the McFly version, which got to number 1. It's Don't Stop Me Now. I like both versions, but to be honest, the Queen one from the album Jazz from 78 is the definitive version. Such an upbeat, pulsing, brilliant song. We're not going to talk about what the song's really about here because we want to stay PG, but it's phenomenal.
So, back to Green Day. And though this is the last in this run of 10, it is by no means the last in this series. There's many to come. And this time it is Basket Case from Dookie.
This was on the last video. It was the last song I mentioned in the last video, as I think Basket Case is mint. Nothing more to say, just a great 3-minute pop song.
Agree.
My penultimate pick from this list is the first single I ever bought by this artist after I became a fan of him. It was 1989. It's Paul McCartney, and it is My Brave Face from Flowers in the Dirt. I can't tell you how important this song was to me. It's a co-write with Elvis Costello, which ultimately led to me discovering and becoming an Elvis Costello fan. And it is my favourite Paul McCartney single. I did my ranking of every single one of his singles, and I couldn't get away from the fact that My Brave Face is such a seminal record in my fandom of McCartney and indeed to a certain extent the Beatles. I love this song to this day, My Brave Face.
So, my is an Adele song, and it is Rolling in the Deep. I don't believe this is the last Adele, we'll see.
My last pick from this list, I'm sticking with Beatle. It's a return to George Harrison. It's my favourite solo George Harrison song, All Things Must Pass from All Things Must Pass. This song was trialled a little bit with the Beatles, but it was never under real serious consideration because I think at this point George knew that he'd got some real gems in his back pocket and he wasn't wanting to waste them. I mean, it would never have been wasted had it actually been properly done by the Beatles. But it is the standout track from the titled album, and it's beautiful. If the Beatles genuinely did reject this, then they had got something in their ears at the time, because this is a great, great song. All Things Must Pass.
My last track is Keen. This is my fourth favourite Keen song, though one of them will not show up because it's too recent, and that being Dirt.
Yeah, Dirt, which was released
But this
last year.
one is Somewhere Only We Know. This is, as I said, my fourth favourite Keen song. There will be more to come.
Good song, Somewhere Only We Know. I think I had it on a previous video.
So, yes.
And used to be my favourite Keen song, but that has tumbled down the list a little bit.
Same.
So thank you for watching. That concludes today's video. We've got another 3 of these to make. If you've enjoyed this video and you like me and him interacting about music, then you might want to head over to Podcast Land and pick up Generation Mix, which is about us talking about compilation CDs I've been making for a while. A link for that will be in the description below. I'll remind you to like, subscribe and hit the bell. Join me in a week for another video, and in a fortnight for the 2 of us doing the 30 down to 21 section of this. But until then, thanks for watching.
Bye.